Sí se puede.
¿Sí se puede?
Sí se puede.
All right, so one of our famous cheers is McCarthy, escucha, estamos en la lucha. McCarthy, escucha, estamos en la lucha. McCarthy, escucha, estamos en la lucha.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
El pueblo
unido
jamás será vencido.
El pueblo aquí y allá, la lucha seguirá. Aquí y allá,
la lucha seguirá.
Aquí y allá,
la lucha seguirá.
What do we want?
Immigration reform. Now.
McCarthy, escucha, estamos en la lucha.
McCarthy, escucha, estamos en la lucha.
¿Se puede?
¡Sí se puede!
¿Se puede? Sí se puede. Immigration reform. Now. What do we want? Immigration reform. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Immigration reform.
When do we want it?
Now.
McCarthy, escucha.
Estamos en la lucha.
McCarthy, escucha.
Estamos en la lucha.
McCarthy, escucha. Estamos en la lucha.
Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Las calles son del pueblo. El pueblo, ¿dónde está?
El pueblo está en las calles exigiendo libertad.
Las calles son del pueblo. El pueblo, ¿dónde está?
El pueblo está en las calles exigiendo libertad.
We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today.
Sí se puede, sí se puede.
Gracias.
On behalf of the coalition, we would like to say thank you so much for being here today. Today we have the privilege of welcoming the fasters from the National Fast for Families campaign, who last November not only fasted for over 20 days, but are now making a 14,212-mile trek across the United States to prove to Congress that our country needs comprehensive immigration reform. And the National Fast for Families bus tour campaign is as much of a spiritual journey as it is a physical one. So accordingly, we would like to invite local community spiritual leader, Conancin.
Como usted nos dijo, ir y venir adelante de mí para defenderlos. Ojos tengan y no nos ven nuestros enemigos. Oídos tengan y no nos oigan nuestros enemigos. But we are here to be of service, my daughter and I. We have been working with the foundation and with United Farm Workers for decades now, and we're well known, and I very much appreciate being here on this day, in this way, and at this time. Gracias a ustedes, primeramente.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We're very blessed today to have these fasters coming today. We feel very blessed to have them here, and each and every one of you that came out today to support this. This is something that should be very close to our hearts and minds. We're here to ask support. We're asked our congressmen to ask them to bring support into this. It's time for us to make a move. It's, we've had years behind this. Everyone, the nation is behind this. We're all in this together, no matter what color, no matter what creed, no matter what religion. Immigration is not something that belongs to any one culture. It has affected us all, but the time is now.
We fasted because we have a crisis. We have a crisis in our community. More than 2 million people will be deported by this April. Every day, hundreds of children are crying because they are being separated from their mother and father. We have children who sang a song, heartbreaking song about his deported uncle. He sang a song, "My uncle was a hardworking man, not a criminal." We have a community teacher come to us and telling us his children did not come to school because last night teacher's father was taken by ICE, leaving child and pregnant woman behind. We had a mother in the community with raising 4 children because her husband was taken by ICE 8 months ago while he was taking his daughter to school. Because of that traumatic experience, the child is seeing a therapist right now. This is not what America is about.
We fasted for 22 days on only water in front of the Capitol. Now, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody sacrifice and go without la vitamina T, tacos, tortillas, tamales? Why would we go without that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the suffering of our families, the deportation of our people needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. So I have a question for you, Bakersfield. ¿Se puede?
Sí se puede.
¿Se puede?
Sí se puede.
Claro que sí se puede, and that's what this bus tour is all about. We're going through the whole country, taking the message and the spirit of the tent, along with the message of sí se puede, to be able to take it to members of Congress so that they see not just the pain of our suffering, but also the power of our people and the power of our votes. Because we have a saying in Spanish, si no por las buenas, por las malas. And we want to make sure that they get the message loud and clear that this needs to happen, not just for the good of immigrants, but for the good and future of this nation. We're not going to stop until we get it done. And that's why you all are so important. Every Wednesday in which you can participate with us is fasting every Wednesday beginning next Wednesday, March 5th. Ash Wednesday is going to start our National Day of Fasting for every Wednesday during Lent. So 7 Wednesdays we invite you to fast on only water. But if you can't do that, aunque sea una comida, even if it's one meal, every bit of that matters, because fasting, along with praying, la oración, and along with action, are the 3 things that we need to make this happen.
I fasted to identify and to relate to and call attention to the suffering of immigrants in this country, to call attention to the suffering of family members in this country. This is not a Latino issue, this is not an Asian issue, this is an American issue. Over 10% of those who are undocumented in this country are of Asian descent. The largest number of Dreamers in the University of California system are of Asian descent. This is an issue that affects all of us because it affects how we understand how we take care of one another. And so I tell people you don't have to be an immigrant to support immigration reform. You just need a heart full of love and the capacity for compassion. So I fasted for immigration reform. I fasted to stop the deportations. I fasted to fix the broken visa system. And I fasted to support my friends like DJ and Rudy and others in DC, but also to support all of you and others around the country who've been fasting and doing their part. So I'm looking forward to fasting every Wednesday. And if you join us in that fast, we will be connected so that Congress people like Kevin McCarthy from around the nation will understand that we will not go away, we will not give up, we will continue to fight until we have comprehensive immigration reform that's fair for everyone.
In solidarity with the national fast happening in DC, Here in Bakersfield, the current Coalition for Citizenship organized a 24-hour fast to pressure House Majority Whip Kevin McCarthy to take much-needed action on immigration reform that includes a pathway to citizenship. And one of these fasters was local community member Connie Hudson.
As a Native American, I fasted because I feel like I'm watching history repeat itself. Families are being torn apart and children traumatized as a result of the broken immigration policies of today. Native peoples can relate to the struggle of the immigrants. Our path has shared discrimination and second-class citizenship. Their deportation was our relocation. Here in the 21st century, our brothers and sisters are suffering at the cost of partisan politics. Looking at the 2,000 miles of border, I see the immigrants' own trail of tears. Tears when they had to leave their homeland, and then tears when they were abruptly returned. The time is now to speak your truth. My truth is to fix the immigration system and stop deportation.
You know, next month is a very important month for us in the farm worker movement because it marks once again the anniversary of Caesar's passing on March 31st. And 30 years ago, Cesar said something very significant at a speech in San Francisco at the Commonwealth Club. He talked about history, inevitability are on our side. The farm workers and their children, and the Hispanics and their children are the future in California. Like the other immigrant groups, the day will come when we win the economic and political rewards which are in keeping with our numbers in society. The day will come when the politicians do the right things by our people out of political necessity and not out of charity or idealism. That day may not come this year, that day may not come during this decade, but it will come someday. Well, sisters and brothers, that day has come. We are the majority here in the state of California. We are a significant number here throughout this nation, and politicians like Kevin McCarthy has to recognize the fact that immigrants and that farm workers and that all of us together are here to bring about the dignity and respect, and that let our voices be heard, and that he hear our voices and ensure that there is a vote taken this year.
It's kind of disappointing when you have these brave young men who are traveling all around the country, who fasted in front of the U.S. Congress for 22 days and many other people that joined them, and that Kevin McCarthy right here, right in front of his office, will not even open the door so that they can go in there and just have a conversation with his staff. I mean, this really points to the kind of a hard heart that Kevin McCarthy has. But the message that we have here for Kevin McCarthy, we are most inspired by what they have done, by the fasting that they have done, by the trip that they're taking throughout the country, throughout the whole United States of America. And we want to say to Kevin McCarthy, we are not giving up. We are going to continue the pressure on Kevin McCarthy until we get immigration reform with the path to citizenship. Step up to the plate. You're the Republican whip. Take your responsibility. We need immigration reform, and we need you as a leader to come forward and make sure that we have a vote on the floor of the Congress. Si se puede, you can do it. Kevin, we're looking up to you, and we're going to be here until you do the right thing. Si se puede. Thank you very much.
You know, everything's kind of come full circle here, you guys. We stand before a congressman who's locked his door on us for months now. Yeah. The original reason that he locked this door was when we fasted down at the Liberty Bell in November in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in D.C. During this fast, now, we were out in weather that was much less hospitable than this. It was raining on us. The county tried to take us out and say we couldn't be there. They wanted us to remove our tents, said we couldn't stay overnight. Then judges brought down an order to have us removed. We did not leave. We stayed. We fasted. We drafted a letter, and the next day we came to this very office to deliver that letter. Mr. McCarthy's doors were locked. The lights were off. We thought nobody was home until we peeked inside and saw that his staff was literally ducking and hiding behind their desks. The second time we came and fasted here in Bakersfield was at this very location with the Dolores Huerta Foundation. We had over 800 people sign up online to fast in solidarity with us. Those doors were still locked in December, and to this day, months later, he has shut us out. The public, his constituents, the mailman can't get in. Nobody can. It's ridiculous. It's absolute BS, and we've got to continue fighting. We've got to continue growing our movement, and we will have immigration reform with labor, the community, and the faith-based groups coming together in solidarity. Si se puede.
The National Fast for Families campaign calls on each one of us in all of America to act, fast, and pray for much-needed immigration reform that includes a pathway to citizenship for the 11 million aspiring Americans in this country. And here in Bakersfield, we call on Congressman Kevin McCarthy and the House leadership to act on comprehensive immigration reform. And we will fast to show our spiritual commitment to the movement, and we will continue to pray for the affected families whose lives have been ruined by a broken immigration reform.
Y pagamos con nuestros impuestos.
Ya. McCarthy, escucha, seguimos en la lucha.
McCarthy, escucha, seguimos en la lucha. McCarthy, escucha, seguimos en la lucha.